drawing inside the Revit. And that's logically the first step of the practical design, as our working as HVAC designers starts when the architectural designers finish their work or their architectural layout, as the specification of the dimensions and the direction of the walls and the position of the building. So all of those specifications are designed by the architect, and we are making our HVAC design according to those specifications. For example, the architect specifies the height of the suspended ceiling, as this is his decision, as the suspended ceiling may be about 60 centimeters or 80 centimeters from the main concrete ceiling. So according to those information, we start our HVAC design. And to insert the architectural CAD layout, we easily press on the Insert tab. So let's go to the Insert tab here. And then we have two group of selections that we can insert from them. The first one is the link, and the second group is the import. And the difference between them is that when we import the CAD file, for example, and we start our working on that tab be running, in that case, if there are some changes later in the CAD file itself, the Revit file will not sense those changes, or the Revit project will not sense those changes, as we have imported the first version of the CAD file, and any other updates on this version of the CAD file itself will not be reflected on the Revit project. But on the other hand, if we link a CAD file to the Revit project, and from its name, it's called link, so there is a continuous operation of connecting the CAD file with the Revit project, which means that if we made any modification of the CAD file later, those modifications will appear on the Revit project. This is because there is a continuous linking operation between both of them. So the linking is a dynamic operation between the files where there are two Revit files, or there may be a Revit file that is connected with the CAD file. So the linking is a dynamic operation between our Revit project and the CAD file, or it may be between our Revit project and another Revit file, while the importing is a distinct operation at which we import the CAD file, for example, to the Revit, and any changes at the CAD will not appear in the Revit. And for that, we will use the link option here to add our Revit file. So we will link a Revit file by pressing on link Revit. And here it asks us for the location at which we have our Revit file. But you can also, when we press on this positioning tab here, we have many options for inserting the Revit file. Here, the first group of options is the automatic inserting of the layout, which means that the layout position will be done automatically by the program, while the second group of options is for the manual inserting of the layout, which means that the coordination of the layout will be specified by yourself as the designer. And we then recommend to choose the manual option anyway, because it may make some mistakes when you specify the layout coordinations on the X and the Y axis, for example. So if you insert the project at a specific coordination, and another designer who are working on another part of the same project has inserted the layout on another coordinations with respect to the coordinations that you made, so there will be a shift of the designing between you and him, and this will be a problem. So instead of the manual insertion, we prefer the automatic insertion. And for that, we have two popular ways for insertion. The first one is the origin by origin, and the second one is the center by center. So for the origin by origin, that means the origin point of the layout that we need to link will be aligned with the origin point of the Revit software, which is this existing project that we are working on. So of its name, it's an origin that is aligned with another origin. The first origin for the Revit software, and the second origin for the layout that you are inserting on the Revit software. But on the other hand, we have the other method, which is the center by center method, at which we have the center of the layout to be aligned with the center of the Revit project. So this is the Revit center, which is the middle of the Revit software designing area, and this is the center of the CAD layout, which is the center of the design itself. And both of them are aligned on each other, so for that it's called the center by center. But in conclusion, we prefer to use the origin by origin method. So let's select here to be the auto origin by origin. And the final thing is that we need to insert the file path here. So I press Ctrl V to insert the file path, and then enter. And then this is the project that we have. So we open it and then press open. Now it's loading to open. Here the linking operation is done. So that's the project that has been loaded here, and this is its elevation plan. So that's about the first step that we have by which we can insert the Revit project. And on the next tutorials, we will continue exploring the software. Basically right now, thank you for watching and see you next tutorials. Hello and welcome everyone. Very happy that you are all together. In this tutorial, we will continue working on our Revit project. So in the previous tutorial, we have finished with linking our Revit project with the Revit software, and now let's explore it. Here, this layout represents a house, and we can explore it from the 3D model, for example, by pressing on this 3D. Here it appears that this is our house. When going out, we will find that this is the final ceiling or the final roof. And when going here, we will find that this is a balcony. And when going down, we will find that those are the main stairs of the house. And this is the entrance or the main door of our house. And here, when going there, we will find that those are some stairs. And also we can rotate those dimensions to see it from another dimension. Here we can go up to see it from top. So this is our building, and you can see this is the kitchen and so on. So by that way we can explore our building from the 3D model or as a 3D model. Here this is another side. We can go there and see it as we need. So that's about the 3-dimension modeling of our building. And also we have the elevation model. As we said before, we have 4 directions for the elevation: the east, the north, and south, and west. So when we go to the east by double click to access it, we will find that this is the elevation from the east direction. Here, this is a door, for example, and this is a wall, and inside it, there are some furniture inside the building. And also, when we see our building from the north direction of the elevation, this is our building. You can see those are some stairs, for example, and this may be a hood for the cooker. And also we have those are some windows, and this is the upper level for our building. Now when accessing it from the south direction, we will find that also those are some stairs. And when accessing it from the west, we will find also those are some details about the architectural design of our building. Now let's access the north direction again. Here we will find that those are some levels that we have talked about before in the previous tutorial. For example, the pool level is about -3 meters under the ground level as it's the pool bottom. And we have also the stairs level on about -1.5 meters, and also the zero level at the ground level, so it has no height or its height is 0. And then we have the denning level on about 0.9 meters, and so on until the final roof level on about 8.2 meters above the ground level. So those levels specifies each element height above the ground or its depth under the ground level, like the pool here to be about -3 meters under the ground level. Very good. Now we need to copy the linked project to start working on it. As until now, what we did only is to link the project to our software. But for us to make our HVAC design, we need to construct our design on our own project and not the linked file directly. And for that, we need to copy what we need from that layout. But that step of copying the linked project is not sufficient separately. This is because we need to observe if there is any change in the architectural layout, as our working depends on the architect design. For example, the walls directions and their types affects our HVAC design. But if the project is still under construction, the architectural engineer may change anything in the design. For example, he may change any level height of those levels, so we need to be online with any changes to observe it when it occurs. Hence, we consider that a change in our HVAC design. And for that, the next step after copying the project is the monitor. So the monitor means that we are monitoring the project design for any change at any time. And for that to do the copying and the monitoring operation, we need to go to a new tab which is called the Collaborate. And here this is the Collaborate tab. And then the Revit here unify those steps of copying and monitoring in one step. And then it asks us if we need to do the copying and the monitoring operation on a project or on a linked project. So as we have linked the project previously, so we select here the link option. And for that, if we go through our working area and specify any object, we will find that the whole design is surrounded by this blue border to be as one plot. So when we press on that plot with a left click, we will find that this upper tab appears to us here. So the first step is to copy the letters that we have. And for that, we will press on copy. But in that case, we have to copy each letter separately, one by one, and this is a tiring operation and it will take some time. And for that, we have this easy multiple option here. So when we press on multiple, we will find that we can copy some objects at the same time, not only one object. And for that, we can press a left click and drag here. So we are selecting all the labels we have by one click, but there is also a part of the structural design that has been selected also. But we need to select the levels only, not any part of the structure. So for that, we easily press on this tab here, which is the photo selection. And then it tells us that we have selected 8 levels and 1 floor. So once we press on this floor to deselect it, we will find that we are selecting now the levels only. So by this way, we can neglect or cancel any part of the object that we don't need to select. And we are selecting now the levels only. So we press OK. And then after finishing the copying operation, we will press on this finish tab. And now we need to monitor our design. So we press on monitor. So by that way, we have copied our levels and we have monitored them. And if we select any level of them, we will find that we have this tab here, which means that we are monitoring our design. And also you can notice those levels colors has been converted to the black, which means that we have copied them. Very good. Now the next step is to express the floors and the ceiling that we have to view them, as our HVAC working will be on the ceilings. And for that, we go to the View tab and then press on Plan View, and here this window pops up that asks us which object that we need to select. So we need to select the floors to view them, and for that we press on Floor Plan, and here we need to select all of them. So for that we press on the first one, and then we press Shift and the last one. So the first one and Shift and the last one. By this way we can select all of them at one time, and we press on OK. And here you can see those are the floors that has been inserted under the HVAC design. And this is the layout here of the floor. So we can access, for example, the first one. Here, that's it. Or we can access the second one. And also we have the beginning stairs. So it appears here we have some stairs. And also we have the level 6. So that's the floor of the level 6 and so on until the last floor. And then after selecting the floor, we need to select the ceiling also. And for that, we press on Plan Views and then Reflected Ceiling Plan. And by the same thing, here we select the first one and shift them the last one and press OK. So by that way, we have selected also the ceilings that we have. But for the ceilings, we will see it here under the coordination. So when open that point, we will find that we have the ceiling plan. So ceiling plans have been inserted under the coordination. We have also the same thing, the dining stairs of the level 6, of the level 8, and the pool. So let's access the stairs pool, for example. And here, this is our layout. And by that way, we can view our ceiling that we have, and also we can view our floors that we have. So that's about the first step that we have in preparing our design, and on the next tutorials we will continue to explore our design. Hope that's it right now. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorials. Hello, welcome everyone. We're happy that we are all together again. In this tutorial, we will continue exploring our Revit project. As on the previous tutorial, we finished with adding the floors and the ceilings into our disciplines here. But you may notice that we have added the floor plans under the HVAC discipline or sub-discipline. But when we added the ceiling, it has been added under the coordination discipline, not the HVAC one or not the mechanical one. But we need to make our project more tidy, as when we are working on the HVAC, there are some floors and some ceilings that must be related to the HVAC, while there will be some floors and some other ceilings that will be added to the plumbing discipline. So they will be the same floors and the same ceilings, but for the plumbing, we will have some layouts or some designs. And for the HVAC design, we will have some designs or some layouts for the same ceilings or for the same floors. So we need to distinguish between the HVAC works and the plumbing works. And for that, our first aim is to add those ceilings plans or to move them from this coordination discipline to the HVAC subdiscipline or to the mechanical discipline under the HVAC subdiscipline. And to do so, we easily select all of those ceilings here from that one here to those ones, from this first ceiling to the last one. And after that, we go to the proports, and then you can see here the discipline is the coordination. We press into it, and we make it to be the mechanical. And then we go down, and here you can see this is the subdiscipline. We will make it easily to be the HVAC. So we press and apply. And then we go to the project browser again. We will find that we managed to add the ceiling plans here, all of those ceiling plans from the Jenny, the level 6, the level 8, and so on. We added them under the HVAC subdiscipline, not the coordination one as what was previously. And also we need to do the same thing for the plumbing, as we need to add the floors under the plumbing and also the ceilings. This is, as we mentioned, to distinguish between our working to make the plumbing works under the plumbing subdiscipline and the HVAC works under the HVAC subdiscipline. Here, this is an arranging operation. And for that, we easily go to the plan views and then floor plans. And it asks us if we need to see the project now. We will neglect this message now. And then this is the floor plan, but you can see there is no selections or no floors to select from them. And to show them, we easily press on this tab here. So all of the floors appears again. But now as we need to add them under the plumbing subdiscipline, easily we press on edit type and then select this one and make it to be the plumbing plan. And now we need to set some options here for those floors, as any tab of those which will be deselected, it will appear or we will activate it. So we need to activate the view graphics for our model, and for that we will deselect this one and those ones here until this one. And also we need to display our model, and to display our model we will deselect this one, so when we deselect it, it will appear. And also for the scale, we need to activate the scale so we can control our scale. And for that, we will deselect this one. And also for displaying our model and the normal one, we will deselect this tab. And for the details level, we also deselect this one. And for the parts visibility, we need also to activate the parts visibility. So we deselect this one and we press on apply, and then we press on OK. So what will happen now is that those floors will be added under the plumbing plan, and for that we press on apply, and after that press OK, and then we then duplicate the existing views and select from the first one to the last one and press OK, and that's it. Here we have managed to add all the floors that we need under the plumbing subdiscipline. And we will do the same thing also for the ceiling. So we go to plan and views, and then the reflected ceiling plan, and now we don't duplicate that again. And then go to edit V type. So instead of the mechanical ceiling, we will choose the plumbing ceiling, and then we will deselect also those options to activate them. So we will activate the display mode and the view scale and the parts visibility and the view graphics. So those all options for the graphics that will be viewed, and then press on apply, and then press OK, and after that OK, and now select from the first one and shift and the last one, and then press OK, and that's it. Here you can see we have under the plumbing discipline, the plumbing subdiscipline, and under the plumbing subdiscipline, you can see we have the ceiling plans. So all of the ceiling plans has been added under the plumbing subdiscipline, and that's our need, is to make the plumbing works under the plumbing and the HVAC works under the HVAC. Now let's go to the HVAC, for example, and a ceiling of it. Let's select the dining stairs, for example. So that's the view for the dining stairs. And now the first thing we need to do is to pin our layout. And the pinning operation means that we will fix the layout at its original position to prevent shifting the layout from its position. As when we are working on the project, we may drag the layout from its original position with respect to the original coordination. So to do that pinning operation, we easily go to the Modify tab. So let's go to the Modify tab, and then we select our design file. Left-click. So all of our design has been selected, and after that we press on this pen tab. So you can notice we have a note here that has been added to our design, which says that we are preventing or allowing the change of the element position. So by that way, we cannot move the drawing unless we unpin again using this unpin tab here. So we can unpin it again if we need, but we prefer to pin our layout, not to move it from its original position. And now what about if we need to make the depth system for any ceiling that we have? So as we are working on the HVAC system, we will need to make the duct system for that HVAC system. So to insert the duct, we easily go to the System tab here. This is the System tab. And then we select the duct here. And easily we press a left click and we move with the mouse. So we're moving with the mouse, you can see we are, or we can draw our duct that we need. So we're moving at any direction. We can press another left click to end the duct. Here we have drawn the first duct, and the same order is activated for us. So we can draw another duct by left click, and then a third one by another left click, and the fourth one by the same way. And if we need to exit our order for drawing the duct, we easily press on the escape. So by that way, we have inserted our duct here that looks like a line. And if we need to insert a new duct, we easily go to the System tab and then duct again. And then we insert the second one by moving here and there. That's it. For any duct you need to insert and then press on escape. But you can notice here the duct looks like a line. But if we need to show or to express our duct on its original shape or with its width not to be like a line here, we easily go to this tab, which is called the Detail level. And here you can notice we have three levels of the details: the coarse and the medium and the fine. So the coarse one is that one that we have selected here, and it shows no details for us. But for example, if we change the details level to be the medium, here you can notice that the duct width has been appeared and the elbows here has been appeared also. And also we have the third option, which is the fine, and the fine shows all the details about any element that we draw. So by that way we can show our duct or any object that we need to insert into any level of details. And also we have another tab here, which is called the Visual Style, and the Visual Style specifies the style of any object that we need to insert. For example, for our duct here, we can make it to be in the realistic shade, and for that you can notice the duct color has been appeared here to be in gray, and also we can change it to be the shaded, or also we can select it to be for the first one, which is the consistent colors, or we can hide the lines again, so when the lines are hidden, that has been appeared with that shape. Very good. So that's about this tutorial. Hope that's clear right now. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorials. Hello, welcome everyone. We're happy that we are all together again. In this tutorial, we will continue exploring our Revit project, and we need to make our system more tidy or more arranged. And for that, we may isolate the plumbing system from the HVAC system and isolate each of them from the electrical system. For example, if we draw a duct at a specific ceiling in the HVAC ceiling, and we go to the same ceiling in the plumbing ceilings, we will find that this duct appears in the plumbing ceiling. But this is an undesired case, as we need the ducts to appear only in the HVAC ceiling because the ducts are used in the HVAC design. And also we need the pipes, for example, to appear only in the plumbing ceiling, as we use the pipes in the plumbing, not in the HVAC design. And to check that, we will find that here we are on the dining stairs ceiling on the HVAC subdiscipline, and here those ducts appear. But if we go down to the plumbing subdiscipline, and here we go to the same ceiling, which is the dining stairs, so let's access it by double click. You can see the ducts appears exactly in the planning ceiling, although those are the planning works. And also we can do the inverse by drawing a pipe into the planning ceiling. So if we press on that pipe here, and then we start from that point, for example, to that point, and then we press enter. Here we can note that this is a pipe that we have drawn, and it's logically to find a pipe into the plumbing ceiling. But if we go back to the HVAC ceiling, here we're going up and select the same ceiling, which is the dining stairs, but for the HVAC this time, here we will find that exactly the pipe appears in the HVAC design. And for that, we need to make the plumbing elements not to appear in the HVAC system, and also we need the HVAC elements not to appear in the plumbing system. And to do so, we easily go to the View tab. So let's go to the View tab, and then select this option, which is the Visibility Graphics. And here you can use the Visibility Graphics options or tabs are frozen or deactivated. So we need to activate the Visibility Graphics for that ceiling firstly, or for that dining stair ceiling. And for that, we press on cancel, and then we select the dining stairs and go to its properties, and then we go down until the view template. So we select the view template here, and those are the same options that we have deselected for the plumbing plan. And for that, we need also to deselect them here and that ceiling, which is the dining stairs. So when we deselect those options, we will activate some options that we need to use or that we can use. For example, the details level here is frozen or deactivated as it's selected here, and we can check that when we go to the details option. So all of those options are deactivated. So we need to activate the details option, and we need to activate also the visual style, and we need to activate some other options that we need, like the visibility graphics. So to do so, we go to the view template again, and then we deselect those options like the scale and the display model and the detail level, and then those options that are related to the visibility graphics, as VG stands for the visibility graphics. So we deselect this one and this one and those ones here, and also the model display. And we go down, we deselect the view range to activate it, and the discipline, and also this one, which is to show the handle lines. And then we press on apply, and after that we press on OK. And now the details level, we will find that exactly it has been activated. So if we made it to P5, for example, we will find that the pipe details has been appeared, or its width has been appeared for us. And then the same thing for the visibility graphics. So we will find that the visibility graphics has been appeared. So what we want to say is that if you need to activate some options or some controlling tabs for your ceiling or for any floor or for any plan that you are working on, you easily go to the view template and then deselect those options that you need to activate. And now our aim from the visibility graphics is to hide anything that is not related to our HVAC system. For example, any element that has a true sign will be activated. So the air terminal has a true sign, which means that it's activated. And the cable tray, for example, which is related to the electrical design, it has a true sign, so it's deactivated. And exactly we need to deactivate it. And when going down a little bit, we will find that the duct system has a true sign, so it's activated, and that's what we need. And when going down a little bit, we will find that the electrical equipment is deactivated, so that's a true thing. And when going down here, we will find that the pipes and its accessories are activated, and this is what we don't need. So we will deactivate here this one and this one. So all of those are related to the pipes fitting, the pipes isolation, and the pipes placeholders, and the pipes themselves. And then we press on apply, and after that we press on OK. Congratulations, we managed to deactivate the pipes here from the HVAC ceiling, and we can do the inverse for the plumbing ceiling to hide the ducts from them. So we don't need the ducts at the plumbing ceiling, and for that we go to the project browser and select the dining stair spot for the plumbing works, and then go to the same option, which is the visibility graphics. And now we don't need the air terminals, And when going down, here we will find that we don't need any of the ducts or its accessories or its fittings, so we can deselect all of those options. Here we deselected them, and then we press on apply, and then we press on OK. That's good. Here we have deselected the ducts from the plumbing ceiling. And if we need to check that also, we go to the system, and here we press on duct to insert a duct. So we don't need to save now. And then if we try to insert any duct, you will find that here this message appears to us that tells us that none of the created elements are visible in the reflected ceiling plan, and this is because we have hide it from the visibility graphics tab. So by that way, you can arrange your system as you need to separate these systems from each other. But there is a problem here. What we applied on one ceiling of hiding its visibility graphics to show some elements and hide some other elements is applied into only one ceiling, which means that for any ceiling or for any floor that we are working on, we need to handle its view graphics separately one by one. So we have handled the graphics for the Denning stairs ceiling here, and we need to do the same thing for the other levels if we need to work on them. But this operation will take a large time if we wanted to do it manually for each plan separately. And for that, there is a solution that enables us to apply the visibility graphics on a group of layouts at the same time. And to do so, we need to make a template that will be applied to all of the ceilings we have. And to make a template, we easily go to any ceiling of those ceilings here. For example, we can go to the level 6 ceiling, and then we go to the View tab, and then press on the visibility graphics. And after that, we will select all the elements that we need, and we will deselect the elements that we don't need. So as we are the plumbing ceiling here, so we don't need the air tunnel, and we're going down, we don't need the ducts, or we don't need the electrical equipment, so we can deselect them. And here we're going down again, we will find that each element that we don't need, we will deselect it, like the mechanical equipment and so on. So that's only for an example. And after that, we will press on apply, and then we will press on OK. And then we need the ceiling to be a template by pressing on this view template tab, and then press on create a template from current view, and then it asks us for its name, so we may rename it to be the plumbing work ceiling. And then we press on OK. Then it asks us for its view properties to activate or deactivate the controlling elements or the controlling modules we have. So what we will do now will be applied to all of the ceilings that we have and the plumbing ceilings. And for that, we will do the same thing for deactivating the view scale and the display model, the details level, and all the visibility graphics options. And so on until the last one as we did before. And after that, we press on OK. And then to apply that operation or to apply that template setting on all the ceiling we have, we easily select all of the ceilings that we have under the plumbing ceiling. So we select that ceiling and until the last one we have. So all of those ceilings that we have for the plumbing ceilings, and then go to the properties and then press on view template, and then select the plumbing work ceiling. This is the template that we have just created, and then press OK. So by that way, we managed to give all the ceilings that we have under the plumbing ceilings the same properties or the same options that we need, and that's only by assigning them to one template. And what we did here on the ceilings will be done on the floors or on the other plans that we have. For example, if we need to add the floors here on the planning under one floor, for example, if we need to give all of those floors under the planning subdiscipline, and if we need to give them the same properties or the same setting that we have, we easily create a new template by the same way and give it the same setting, and also the same thing for the HVAC, for its floor plans, and for its ceiling plans. So let's repeat that operation. For example, for the HVAC floor plans, here we select any floor of them, and after that we go to the visibility graphics, and after that we press on view templates, and then create a template from the current view. And here let's rename it to PV HVAC floor works, and after that we press on OK. And then we give it the same facilities or the same options that we have by the same way, so we don't need to waste our time. You can select it yourself. And then we press on OK, and after that we select all the floors that we have for the HVAC. Here those all the floors, and then go to the properties, and then go to the view template, and then go to this view type filter and select all, and here we select the HVAC fluid works, and then we press on apply, and then we press on OK. So by that way, we have managed to make a template for all the ceilings that we have or all of the floors that we have by the same way. So that's about this tutorial. Hope that's clear right now. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorial.